The transmission reached Earth in the dead of night, but there was nothing quiet about it. 10 million human lives being slaughtered in real time, broadcast across the galaxy by a species that wanted the universe to witness their cruelty. Families burned alive, cities reduced to ash, screams amplified by their twisted technology, every detail intended to break humanity's spirit. On the command bridge of the orbital fleet station Aegis Prime, Admiral Cale Donovan watched the feed silently. His face was unreadable, but his eyes burned with restrained fury. Around him, officers shifted uneasily. Most of them had seen war before, but nothing like this. 10 million dead in a single campaign, unimaginable even by the galaxy's brutal standards. Lieutenant Commander Alara Vance, standing at his side, clenched her fist. They killed them live. Every detail broadcast. The galaxy is watching. Exactly, Cale said, his voice low but steady. And the galaxy will learn a lesson. They wanted fear. They wanted us to crumble. They won't. They'll wish they had. Deep below Earth's surface, humanity's secret fleets stirred. Massive warships, long hidden and untested in open combat, powered up their systems. Railguns charged silently, kinetic strike platforms hummed with restrained energy, and AI-controlled weapons arrays scanned thousands of target vectors simultaneously. Humanity's response would be surgical, merciless, and devastating. On the holomap, the alien fleets responsible for the massacre were already moving, confident, arrogant, believing the humans too shocked to retaliate. They assumed that fear would paralyze Earth's defenses. They were wrong. Phase 1, Cale commanded, tapping the interface. Activate orbital railguns. Deploy hidden fleets to intercept supply lines and command node. No mercy, but precision above all. Alara's gaze swept across the enemy positions. They think brute force is enough. They think numbers matter. They'll learn intelligence matters more. Minutes later, humanity struck. Railgun projectiles accelerated to near-light speed, tearing through alien cruisers and supply transport. Explosions illuminated space as entire flotillas disintegrated before retaliatory fire could even be coordinated. Command centers erupted in blinding flashes, their communications blacked out. Panic rippled through the alien forces. And humanity did not stop. Prototype warships emerged from asteroid cover, coordinating flawlessly with orbital batteries. Every move of the enemy fleet had been predicted, every formation countered. No civilian vessel was harmed. Humanity's wrath was precise, a surgical instrument of vengeance. On the command bridge, Cale watched the enemy formation crumble. 10 million humans killed, he said softly, almost reverently. And now we respond. Not with chaos, but with calculated fire. Alara's voice was calm, almost serene. They wanted terror. They'll get something far worse, the truth. Humanity does not bend. Humanity does not beg. Humanity strikes back. As the first volleys of humanity's counterattack tore through the alien supply lines, the galaxy began to understand something it had long underestimated. Humans could be merciful, but they could also be utterly relentless. The massacre had been horrific. The response would be legendary. And the species responsible for 10 million deaths would learn the cost of underestimating Earth. The galaxy had never seen humanity fight like this. Within hours of the broadcast massacre, hidden fleets emerged from orbital cloaks, asteroid fields, and deep space hangars. Every ship moved with lethal precision, AI and human commanders working in perfect synchrony. The first strike was surgical, targeting supply lines, command stations, and key military infrastructure. On the bridge of the human dreadnought Indomitable, Captain Alara Vance surveyed the holomap. Red blips indicated alien outposts, green represented human units coordinating with unerring timing. Phase 2, she said calmly. Neutralize communications and cripple their fleet mobility. Make them feel panic before they can react. Missile bays opened, but no missiles were fired haphazardly. Railguns tore through enemy frigates, kinetic projectiles vaporizing entire squadrons mid-flight. Alien commanders scrambled, shouting orders that were already anticipated and countered. Their arrogance and overconfidence became a death sentence. A holographic feed showed an alien planet's capital city, its orbital defense platforms already destroyed by humanity's long-range strike. Population centers were untouched. Every attack was surgical. The humans did not kill indiscriminately. They punished strategically. Every move of the enemy fleet had been predicted, every formation dismantled before it could retaliate. On board the Indomitable, Lieutenant Jaron Kor monitored incoming alien transmissions. "Sir, they're trying to regroup, but every maneuver they attempt is falling apart. Our projections were correct. They can't coordinate under pressure." Alara's expression was steady. "They underestimated our response. They thought fear would paralyze us. Now, they'll learn the cost of misjudging humanity." Across space, entire alien convoys evaporated under precise volleys. Massive warships erupted in blinding flashes, smaller vessels were shredded instantly, and command frigates collapsed under coordinated attacks from orbital railguns and human warship. The aliens could only watch as their infrastructure and fleets disintegrated. Meanwhile, Earth's AI-run war networks monitored thousands of vectors simultaneously. Every human ship, every orbital weapon, every defensive protocol worked in unison, creating a perfect storm of retaliation. This was not chaos. It was human intelligence applied as a weapon. In the midst of destruction, a communication broke through. The aliens tried to surrender, begging for mercy. Alara's voice cut through the feed. "Mercy was denied the moment you massacred 10 million humans. Humanity does not negotiate with those who commit genocide." The enemy fleet fractured, retreating toward its homeworld. Every attempt to regroup was intercepted and destroyed. The first strike phase concluded with near-total annihilation of supply lines, crippling the alien forces and sending a message to the entire galaxy. Human wrath was precise, intelligent, and unyielding. On the bridge of Indomitable, Alara turned to Lieutenant Kor. "Prepare for Phase 3. We take the fight to their homeworld. They will feel the full weight of their actions." The galaxy watched in horror and awe. Humanity had responded, not with panic or brute force, but with calculated precision. Every action had been measured, every strike deliberate. 10 million lives had been taken, and now the universe would witness humanity's answer, merciless, unstoppable, and just. The alien homeworld loomed in the viewport like a jewel coated in shadow. Cities stretched across continents, but the devastation humanity would bring was already planned with unerring precision. On board the flagship Indomitable, Admiral Cale Donovan studied the holographic display. Every orbital defense, every fleet position, every command hub had been mapped, scanned, and calculated. "Phase 3, Cale said. Full-scale assault. Prioritize command structures and fleet coordination points. Civilians are collateral only if unavoidable." Lieutenant Commander Alara Vance's hands danced over the console. "Our railguns are ready. Kinetic arrays online. AI targeting grid synchronized with fleet deployment. This will be swift, surgical, and absolute." The first wave struck. Orbital weapons unleashed devastating volleys, tearing alien frigates and cruisers into incandescent shards. Command centers erupted in blinding light, and communication nodes went dark before the aliens could coordinate any effective defense. On the planet's surface, automated precision strikes dismantled military installations, depots, and defensive batteries. The aliens had believed in their numerical advantage, but sheer numbers were meaningless against humans who anticipated every maneuver. Missiles were intercepted mid-flight, energy shields collapsed under sustained railgun fire, and entire squadrons disintegrated before they could regroup. Admiral Cale's voice was calm but forceful. "Maintain formation. Every strike must be decisive. No hesitation. They destroyed 10 million of our people. We ensure their civilization cannot repeat that mistake." From the planet's orbital docks, alien capital ships scrambled, but human forces had already predicted their move. Prototype warships emerged from asteroid cover, flanking the fleet, while orbital railguns shredded incoming dreadnoughts in seconds. Entire alien battle groups collided in chaos, destroying themselves as humans guided the battlefield with surgical precision. Meanwhile, on the homeworld, command centers collapsed under relentless fire. Alien leaders attempted evacuation, but human boarding vessels intercepted their routes. Every movement was anticipated, every escape prevented. Humanity's response was merciless, but calculated. The goal was eradication of the threat, not mindless destruction. Lieutenant Jaren Kor monitored the feed. "Admiral, their fleet cohesion is breaking. They're attempting to surrender, but we have the advantage. We can neutralize leadership with zero further civilian loss." Kale nodded. "Execute. Make it clear, the massacre of 10 million will not be forgiven." As the human forces advanced, the alien species realized the galaxy had underestimated humans. Not only could they survive unimaginable loss, but they could retaliate with intelligence, precision, and relentless efficiency. Entire alien formations crumbled, the homeworld's defenses shredded, and command structures obliterated. By the end of the day, the planet's military capability had been annihilated. Humanity had not only avenged 10 million lives, they had demonstrated the lethal effectiveness of human strategy, foresight, and ruthless resolve. The surviving alien leaders understood, finally and horrifyingly, that humanity did not just fight to survive, they fought to end threats completely. Admiral Kale gazed at the holomap. "Prepare for the final sweep. Nothing must remain to rise again. Humanity's message must be unmistakable. The galaxy would remember this day. Humanity had returned fire, not with chaos, not with blind rage, but with cold, calculated vengeance." The alien homeworld smoldered under humanity's relentless precision. Cities once teeming with life were now strategic targets, their military complexes obliterated by orbital railguns and kinetic strike. The remnants of the enemy fleet attempted to regroup, but every maneuver was anticipated and countered. Humanity had mastered the art of total warfare, surgical, efficient, and utterly merciless. On board the human dreadnought Indomitable, Admiral Cale Donovan oversaw the operation with calm intensity. Holographic displays highlighted enemy vessels and planetary defense points. Every strike vector had been calculated, every angle anticipated. There was no panic, only the cold efficiency of a species determined to ensure the atrocities of the past would never repeat. Lieutenant Commander Alara Vance monitored weapon systems. Orbital arrays online. Targeting grids aligned. Secondary strike protocols ready. They won't be able to regroup anywhere in the system. The first wave of counterattacks decimated the enemy's remaining fleet. Alien cruisers disintegrated under precision railgun fire, frigates vaporized mid-flight, and command hubs exploded in controlled detonations. The humans struck with surgical timing, ensuring every blow was final. Planetary defenses were next. Surface-to-orbit installations were neutralized within hours. Autonomous strike units and orbital bombardments tore through fortifications while human boarding vessels secured key locations. Resistance crumbled almost instantly. Alien leaders realized too late that they were outmatched not just in technology, but in strategy and foresight. A holographic display flashed warnings. Enemy surrender protocol activated. Cale studied the feed. No negotiations. They massacred 10 million. Their fleets and command centers are destroyed. The galaxy must understand the consequences of genocide. On the planet's surface, human forces moved with precision, neutralizing military strongholds and ensuring no chance of recovery. The alien species' population centers remained largely untouched, a deliberate choice to demonstrate calculated justice rather than indiscriminate destruction. Across the system, human fleets continued their sweep. Any attempt by surviving enemy ships to flee was intercepted by kinetic strike platforms or prototype warship. By the end of the operation, the alien species' military capacity was annihilated, their leadership eliminated, and their homeworld crippled beyond immediate recovery. Lieutenant Jaron Core glanced at Kale. "Sir, they're finished. Nothing remains that could rebuild their fleet or command infrastructure." Kale nodded. "Good. Broadcast the message. The galaxy needs to understand humanity's resolve. Aggression against humans or any act of genocide will be met with total annihilation. This is justice, not vengeance." Humanity had demonstrated the full scale of its capability, intelligent, calculated, and merciless when provoked. The galaxy would never again underestimate Earth. And for the alien species responsible for 10 million deaths, there would be no second chance. Silence fell across the alien system. The devastation was total. Orbital stations lay in ruins, fleets reduced to molten fragments, and command centers obliterated. Humanity had executed its campaign with ruthless precision, enough to ensure that the species responsible for 10 million deaths could never rise again. On the bridge of the Indomitable, Admiral Cale Donovan surveyed the aftermath. Holographic displays showed the shattered remains of the enemy fleets and the crippled homeworld below. Not a single human life had been lost during the final sweep. Not a single civilian had suffered collateral damage. This was not chaos. This was controlled, absolute justice. Lieutenant Commander Alara Vance turned to Kale, her voice calm but resolute. "They underestimated us. They thought fear could stop humanity. They thought genocide would leave us paralyzed. They were wrong." Across the galaxy, news spread. Systems that had once whispered rumors of human extinction now trembled at the knowledge of Earth's wrath. Humanity's response was more than revenge. It was a warning. Intelligent, calculated, and unavoidable. On the alien homeworld, the surviving leadership tried to broadcast surrender requests, but it was too late. Humanity had already established orbital control, neutralizing any remaining military infrastructure. The message was clear. Aggression against humans would no longer be tolerated, and any species foolish enough to commit genocide would pay in full. Back on Earth, public broadcasts showed nothing of the carnage itself. Humanity did not celebrate indiscriminately. Instead, the leaders issued a calm, unwavering statement to the galaxy. "We do not seek war. We do not seek conquest. But any attack on humanity, any act of genocide against our people, will be met with precise and total retaliation. Let this be a warning to all civilizations. Earth endures. Humanity prevails." Admiral Cale stood before a viewport, watching the alien world smolder. Thousands of years of history had culminated in this moment. The massacre of 10 million humans had triggered a response that no species could ignore. And the galaxy had witnessed it all. Lieutenant Jaron Core broke the silence. "Sir, they'll remember this forever." Cale nodded. "Yes, they will remember. Humanity does not forget. Humanity does not forgive lightly. But when we act with precision. Justice will always prevail." The alien species that had once slaughtered millions now faced a galaxy that had learned a harsh lesson. Humanity was no longer the underdog. Humanity was the standard of survival, intelligence, and unyielding resolve. As Earth's fleets returned to orbit and the remaining forces reorganized for long-term oversight of the system, a single truth echoed across the stars. Humans endure. Humans strike. And when provoked, humans do not hold back. The galaxy had witnessed the cost of underestimating Earth, and it would never forget.